Hi, my name's Scott. I live in rural California, and I'm retired. Um, and I'm kind of a working class white guy, pretty normal. And I have progressive views in terms of economic policies and the status quo establishment Democrats and status quo GOP. They have been playing a game with us for decades. And this game is divide and conquer. You keep common working class people bickering and fighting culture war issues, and they will never get together and be able to actually vote for people that can actually put economic policies in place that will actually benefit working class people like me. And I want to do my best to try to contribute and help that end. And so to do that, we have to resolve some culture war issues. One of the biggest culture war issues that divide common working class people all the time are guns and gun ownership. So, in this quick little video, I want to talk about the new assault weapon ban, which will take effect in July 1st, 2026 in Virginia. Very controversial. Let's look at what it does, what it doesn't do, because it will probably surprise you. So I'm going to do a little screen share here. All right, we're going to hide our controls. All right, so this is the actual text of the Virginia law, and it defines an assault weapon as a semi-automatic rifle that has the ability to accept a magazine and has one or more of the following characteristics or what we call features: folding stock, telescoping, collapsible, thumbhole stock, pistol grip that protrudes conspicuously beneath the action, a second grip that can be held by the non-trigger hand, a grenade launcher. Look, nobody has grenade launchers. This is silly. A threaded barrel capable of accepting a muzzle brake, a compensator, or a sound suppressor, or a flash hider. That's it. So here's the thing. This is the ban, right? It doesn't say you can't have a rifle, a semi-automatic rifle, or anything like that. It says you can't have a semi-automatic rifle with one of these features. Well, let's look at what that really means for gun purchases and gun owners in Virginia, because this is very, very similar to what California has been had in place for decades. And here's the shocking thing. In California, gun hating California, you can still buy a semi-automatic rifle, including the much maligned AR-15, anytime you want, and you can buy as many of them as you want. You just can't have an AR-15 with these features. Now, are these features important? Let's take a look. Um, this is a picture of a Mini 14. This is an AR-15. Okay. Now, they both take magazines. They take the same exact ammunition. They have the same rate of fire. They have the same ballistics, essentially the same capabilities as one another. So, under the Virginia assault weapon ban, much like the California ban, this one that's made out of nice wood, looks all traditional, absolutely completely legal. It doesn't have a pistol grip, it doesn't have a collapsible stock, it doesn't have a flash hider. Go and buy 100 of these, you're all good to go. Now, they're like, oh, you can't have this scary looking AR-15, even though it has the exact same capacity and everything as the Mini 14, because it has, well, this one has a pistol grip, so that would put it out. It could have a collapsible stock, it could have a flash hider or compensator. But if you want to buy an AR-15 in Virginia after July 1st, you simply have to do a couple things. So you can't have a gun with a collapsible stock, a pistol grip, or a flash hider. This one's good to go. This one's not. In Virginia, you're going to have to do what Californians do, and that is if you own a AR-15 or buy a AR-15, you're going to have to put a goofy grip on it. All right? So Virginia from California, welcome to the Goofy Gun Club, goofy looking gun club. That's what happens. So this gives the grip a legal dodge, if you will, away from the pistol grip. It's not a pistol grip because you can't grab it like a pistol. This stock over here, it may look adjustable. It's not. It's been fixed with a paper clip. I kid you not. So it can't be adjusted. So this is a way that Californians buy AR-15s legally. They just don't have the banned features on them. If you don't like that grip, you can get this grip. Okay, here's a non-adjustable stock, obviously, and here's a different non-pistol grip. This is also legal in California, and this is what your rifles are going to look like in Virginia after July 1st. Now, if the gun ban doesn't actually ban guns, because it won't, it'll only ban a couple features. What does it actually accomplish? Well, in my estimation, all these assault weapon bans going all the way back to 1994 and Bill Clinton's ban accomplished two things. Number one, they sell guns. They sell lots and lots of guns. So the news is reporting in Virginia that background checks required for gun sales have more than doubled in May versus a year prior. That's right. Anytime you talk about banning something, everyone runs out and buys them. And then, so gun bans, they sell guns. They don't actually ban guns. Seems counterintuitive, but it's just the truth. So let's see. They said there were 35,000 background checks in 2024 and then in May, and then this year there were almost 20 or 73,000. That's a lot of guns sold. The other thing that these gun bans do is they divide working class people. They divide common Americans. Look, the Democrat establishment, they're like, we'll take the gun haters, and the Republicans say we'll take the gun lovers, and we'll split the demographic half and half, and they won't be able to get together and challenge the status quo. If you're happy with the status quo in this country, great. The system is working for you. If you're not happy with the status quo, like I am not, then things have to change. And one thing that has to change is if the Democratic Party is going to get kind of its act together and actually start doing something for working class people, they're going to have to start embracing all working class people, including gun owners. This is my message. So, assault weapon bans, magazine bans, they keep working class people divided politically, and they sell a lot of guns. So there's that. Now, people think again that assault weapon bans ban guns. They don't. This is from Wikipedia. I can give you a link. So this is the percentage of AR-15s that were sold uh, prior to the assault weapon ban of 1994. This is Bill Clinton's ban. And this is the percentage of guns that were AR-15s sold during the ban. Well, you see a little uptick leading up to the ban and then a little drop, but then it just keeps climbing. And I could go to this graph, the full thing, it just keeps going and going and going. So the federal assault weapon ban did not ban the sale of AR-15s at all. In fact, it increased the ban. So like basically what this is showing is that more AR-15s were sold during the 10 years of the assault weapon ban than in the 10 years prior to the ban. So if some politician is telling you that the assault weapon bans save lives and blah, 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 they're obviously misinformed or they're lying to you. Because how can this be, right? More AR-15s were sold during the ban than before the ban. Now, if the assault weapon ban actually banned the sale of AR-15s, this number would go to zero. It doesn't. Now, going back to owning an AR-15 in a state that has an assault weapon ban in place, this is not a joke. This is an actual flow chart for how to determine whether or not a gun is an assault weapon in California. Yeah, it's crazy. I'll provide some links. Anyways, this is a Smith & Wesson website, and this is a California legal AR-15 that they sell for like 1,200 bucks. So you can see there's no flash hider. There's a goofy looking grip here. There's a fixed stock here. There's no forward grip. Completely legal in California. And uh, they're going to make a legal version just like this pretty much for Virginia. So this every single bit as lethal or powerful or whatever you want to call it as another AR-15 with a normal looking grip, a collapsible stock, and a flash hider. No difference. Absolutely no difference. These gun bans are a absolute hoax. Here's another picture of it. So Pew Research does a lot of good work on understanding guns in the United States. And I want to point this out real quick here. So of gun homicides in 2024, handguns were involved 53% of the almost 1,200 US gun murders. Rifles were used 3% of the time. And this is their website, not mine. The category that includes guns, sometimes referred to assault weapons. So assault weapons are a subset of rifles, and rifles were 3% of murders. Shotguns, like 1%. And then, of course, there's 42 where the police reports, 42% where the police reports were incomplete. They didn't give a type stated. So if we add this number to the handguns, you can see it's like 95% of the guns. Now, maybe a few of these undetermined ones were rifles or shotguns, but still, the vast majority of these not classified guns were almost certainly handguns. So handguns, they're they're used in 80 to 95% of the firearm related homicides in the United States. Not rifles, not scary looking AR-15s with the pistol grips and deadly flash hiders and heaven forbid grenade launchers. No, normal, ordinary handguns. That's where the problem is if you think guns are a problem. Now, I just want to hit one more thing, and that is how many guns Americans own and why they own them. Real quick, basically half the households in the United States have guns in them. About a third of Americans are gun owners, and 81% of gun owners say that they feel safer owning a gun. That's right. The absolute number one reason that Americans, buy and own guns is for self-defense. And so that does two things. It helps them feel safer and it helps them feel like they have more control in their lives. Now, you may not feel that owning a gun makes a person safer or not. That's a fine opinion. I'm not going to argue it either way. But what you have to understand is that gun owners feel safer and more control of their lives owning guns. And so it's not important that you believe it. It's what's important is that they believe it. And they're generally working class people just like everybody else, and they vote. And if you're the Democratic Party, you have made them feel very unwelcome in your big blue tent. Anytime a politician says, oh, we need to ban assault weapons and high capacity magazines, they're being heard by millions of gun owners who own that thing and they value their right to own that thing and they own it to feel safe. And when the Democratic Party says, oh, we don't, we want to ban this, what that gun owner hears is that if we're in power, we will turn you into a criminal with the stroke of our pen just because you own something that we don't like. That hits hard. It doesn't get votes. It motivates people, gun owners, to remember to go out in November and vote against that guy, to vote against that party. So if the Democratic Party wants to actually be the party of the working class and make New Deal economic policies reality that help working class people, they're going to need to welcome gun owners into their big blue tent. Thank you.